Number 41. It says construct a pie chart for the following distribution. We have the years in school and we have the number of students. So, if you notice here, I added 3 extra columns. A column for relative frequency, a column for percentage, and a column for degrees. Now, the relative frequency is essential for helping us find our percentage and our degrees. The degrees will help us to construct a circle, where the percentage will represent the percent, or rather the proportion of the pie when a circle is completed. Now, to find your relative frequency, you take your class frequency and divide it by your total frequency. So what we must do is we must first calculate the total frequency by adding up all the values, in this case, all the students in the frequency distribution. So when we do that, I want to make my calculator a little bit smaller. That's going to be 28 plus 14 plus 40 plus 18, and that equals 100. So our sample size, or our total frequency, same thing, is going to be 100. Now, what we want to do is we want to find the relative frequency for every class. To find the relative frequency, we are going to divide the class frequency by the total. So to find the relative frequency for freshmen, that's going to be 28 divided by 100. And that's going to equal to 0.28. To know that you're doing the relative frequency correct, once you compute all the relative frequencies, it should add up to 1. Then we have 14 divided by 100, which is going to be 0.14. Repeat the same process. 40 divided by 100 is 0.4, or 0.40. 18 divided by 100 is 0.18. When you add the relative frequency column, it equals to 1. Therefore, we know we're doing this correct. Next, we want to find the percentage of each class. To find a percent, we can multiply the relative frequency by 100%. Or, remember, to convert a decimal to percent, you can move the decimal over 2 units to the right to make the answer percentage. So, if I move my relative frequency, the decimal, 2 units to the right, that becomes 28%. Same thing with the 0.14. Move the decimal 2 units to the right, that is 14%. 40%. 18%. And the percent must add up to 100, which it will. Last but not least, we want to find the degrees, which will help us construct our pie chart. To find the degrees, it is the relative frequency times 360. So to find the degrees for freshmen, I'm going to take my relative frequency of 0.28, and I'm going to multiply that by 360 degrees. And that equals to 100.8 degrees. Let's continue the same pattern by multiplying the 0.14 by 360 degrees. That is going to give us 50.4 degrees. 0.40 times 360 equals 144 degrees. 0.18 times 360 degrees, that's going to equal to 68.4 degrees. 64.8 degrees, excuse me. And when I add up my degrees, they must add up to 360. So you can go ahead and add them up. They add up to 360 degrees. Now let's construct our pie graph, our pie chart. Let me zoom out a little bit. Let me bring my calculator down here since I don't need the formulas that much anymore. Alright. What we're going to do first is, we are going to estimate 100.8 degrees. So you draw a line here at 0 degrees. Oh, that was far from straight. Okay. Now 100.8 is more than 90, but it's kind of close. So I'll put it right here. 100.8 degrees. And this category represents freshmen. And that's 28%. So now what I'm going to do is to find out the next part. I'm going to take my 108 degrees, 100.8 degrees. I'm going to add 50.4 degrees. And that is 151.2 degrees. So I want to approximate that on my pi circle. My pie chart, excuse me. My pi circle, what is wrong with me? And we'll put that right about here. 14 degrees is relatively small, so we'll put it right there. 151.2 degrees. That's going to be sophomores. 14%. Then we're going to add the next percentage of 144 degrees. And that gives us 295.2 degrees. And this should be 270 degrees right there. 295.2 is going to be past 270. We will put that right about here. No, I did enough justice. Right about there. 295.2 degrees. That's going to be for our juniors, which is 40%. And the seniors will get the rest. And if I add the 64.8 degrees, that equals to 360. So seniors, and that's going to be 18%. Which I think looks about right. Yep, looks fine to me. So your final pie will look like this.